right, this is my model. She's natural level 7. Our goal today is to break up this old blonde. She's been growing her natural color in for about 6 months. So we really want to maintain that natural depth she has happening and then kind of pull it through the bottom to break it up the old blonde, as well as brighten up some of these pieces in here and give her some really bold, bright blonde sectioning, along with making this pop in the front, the money piece. And yeah, so that's our goal. So this is what our tray looks like today. For the tools I'm using, it's going to be this Product Club brush along with the paintbrush here, the clips, and I mixed up our low light. This is the color we're going to be pulling through that's going to mimic her natural. It is level 7N and level 6N with a little 7A and 6A added to it. And then our lightener is it's Oligo Professional. That's the color Gloss. This is the Black Light Clay plus extra 40 volume. And we will also be using the balayage film here. Okay, so we started off by sectioning her out. I'm going to start in the front section here, moving on to the other side here. We just sectioned right behind the ear here, and the back section I just sectioned out, braided to keep it out of my way. The reasoning why I'm starting in the front with the sectioning is because we really want that bold and brightness to be in the front. And she's got a lot of dark and stuff here, so I really want to ensure that we get that brightness where we want it. So that's the reasoning behind starting in the front. Also, the reasoning in starting in this section is she's got a little bit more hair on this side, so it will take me a little bit longer. So that means the color that's left on there is going to process a little longer as well. So that's my reasoning behind starting on this side, moving to the other side, because I'll be able to move through this quadrant over on this side of her head a little bit quicker. Alright, starting with this first section around the ear here, we really want to make sure we have that boldness and brightness around the entire face, and we're not missing any areas that there's going to be darkness, so it doesn't leave like a black hole or anything when she wears her hair up. So starting on this section first. I'm laying the product down. She's got a lot of baby hairs here that are kind of getting in my way, so I want to make sure to get those covered, but they're getting in my way so my product's not laying down nicely. So what I'm going to do is just comb out all the product I just laid, and then that's going to comb those baby hairs into that so they will no longer be in my way, but I'll be able to work with them rather than against them now. And my product now is going to lay more nicely where I want it to lay, and give me more of a smooth application. Now I'm moving on to the top of this section. I want to make sure that I have full saturation in the front to make sure I have that boldness and money piece. So you're going to see me here just laying the product on nice and thick and even smushing it through so it's fully saturating from bottom to top of the section, but I will only be fully saturating it through in the front and then surface painting everywhere else, because she's already blonde through the ends, so we don't need to fully saturate through those. I just want to help bump them just a little bit. So we're just surface painting on the bottom of the section and the top of the section, other than right around the face. Then I'm smushing through the product just on that new growth color in the front, and then I'm leaving the natural depth behind that to really make sure that we get that nice pop. And then those two colors for natural depth and the brightness around the face is really going to help ensure that brightness there. section is going to be right above this, kind of at an angle towards the front here, because this is where I'm going to add in our first low light. But I do know I want on top of it to be highlighted, so I'm sectioning this out of my way. And this piece has some old highlight in it, and that's where I want to see that depth. So this is where we're going to add in our low light. So I'm just lightly brushing that up to her root, not fully saturating because I want it to blend in with her natural nicely, and then fully saturating through the middle to ends. So I'm pulling this low light all the way through to the ends because it is kind of in the middle underneath, and I really want to have that depth and darkness in there. But as I get higher to the top, I won't necessarily pull the low light all the way through the ends. Okay, so far we've done, this is the first section that you saw, the low light right here. Then we have the following section above that. We've got our money piece section done. So next I'm moving on to the sectioning above here. So you're gonna see, I'm gonna section out, that's gonna be a low light piece that falls over all of that. And then the next section is going to be the very top section, and I'm going to weave that section out, and that's gonna be painted light. This was the next section I was talking about that I'm going to low light. So I'm actually going to weave my low light in here. Leave this natural depth and that little highlight that she has in there. I'm going to leave that in there because we do want different colors of blonde in there to have that dimensional look. Now that I'm in here, I'm seeing that her natural depth is going down pretty far already. So I am going to pull this all the way through again, through the ends. Alright, so I've sectioned out what I'm going to be doing next. So this one I'm going to be painting light, then above that is a low light I weaved out, and then above that is a highlight that I weaved out. So this one we're going to paint with the balayage. I'm going to layer my product on in the middle of my section, and then work that product up around the face. Bright and light around the face. And then I can already tell I'm not liking the way that that's laying on in the back of the section, so combing it out like you saw me previously do. And like I said before, that's just going to help that product lay all those baby hairs down so they don't get in my way. And it also helps the product go where I want it to go as well. So I don't want to go too high in this section because I want to maintain that natural depth she has happening. I'm just lightly brushing up with heavy saturation because I want ultimate brightness. And then I am smushing that product through in the front of the section because that's where I want it to be the brightest. See how that's fully saturated all the way through the front of the section, but nothing behind it. That's exactly how I want it. And then I'm going to come through, paint through the ends, and fully saturate through those ends. And I'm going to double check how that looks underneath. Really make sure that's smoothed out. And one more good saturation. Here's my section. And then balayage film. I'm going to wrap it up. Alright, we finished our first section here, so you'll see the placement here is going to really give that nice brightness towards the front and angled back, so she'll keep that depth back here. So this top section is a highlight, and that was weaved out like I said, and then we've got our low light underneath that, and that's going to just really maintain the nice melty blend at the top, and also maintain that depth there. We just finished the other side. We did the same sectioning that we did in on the other side of the head. So the top one weaved out, painted piece, underneath is a low light, and then another highlight painted piece. Okay, so we finished applying all of our sections. We're done with the back. Sides have been processing for a little bit, so now we're gonna wait. But for the sectioning in the back, we did diagonals on the very bottom, and then straight across, and then kind of diagonals through the top, straight across, which you can kind of see with this top sectioning. And we also worked off the part that she has in the back of the head, so we really played off of how that's gonna fall as well, so it won't fall and leave a weird black hole in there if, you know, day 2, day 3, day 4 dirty hair. Here is our after. Now you can see all the depth that I've maintained through the top, along with pulling that low light all the way through. Just got a lot more dimension throughout, and now that blonde is just popping really nicely, very bright. The low light and the highlight are working really well off of each other to really make that blonde pop more. So I hope you really enjoyed the video today, and I hope that you were able to take away some little tips and tricks that I used to create that dimension and that depth.